The story follows Jeong Jin, who is living with her uncle Jeong Jin Man in the Korean countryside. One day, she is devastated to find out that her uncle has unexpectedly killed himself. Completely in shock, Jian is sent to the hospital to verify her uncle's identity, where she suddenly notices something that she'd never seen before. A tattoo that reads, "Merthy help." Unable to deal with her grief, Jian is glad to see her childhood friend, Bae Jong-min, a fellow student who has been studying computer engineering and working part-time for Jin Man. Jong-min even offers to clean the bathroom where Jin Man died, a chore that Jian had been dreading. As her uncle's only family, Jian is the lead mourner at Jin Man's funeral. Once at home afterwards, Jian, exhausted, breaks down and asks Jong-min to stay with her. Once Jian wakes up, Jong-min shows her a mysterious flip phone that he had found, hidden in the bathroom cabinet. As soon as they open the phone, Jian sees a text message from someone saying that Jin Man paid them 70 million won, and another message that shows that Jian has inherited 18.7 billion won from her uncle. What was Jin Man doing to earn that kind of money? Curious, using Jong-min's tech skills, they crack through Jin Man's agricultural goods website and find that it was actually a front for a website on the dark web. Named Merthy Help, the website sells weapons, everything from guns to bombs. Mystified and scared, when a message threatening her by name comes through, Jian quickly shuts down the computer. Suddenly, the doorbell rings, sending chills down Jian's spine. A woman on the other side introduces herself as So Min-hye, Jin Man's Chinese tutor, but her uncle doesn't take Chinese classes. But before we can learn more about this mysterious visitor, first we must take a trip down memory road, specifically to Jian's grandmother's funeral. When 6-year-old Jian breaks something, her mother asks Jin Man to take her home so that she can rest. But upon arriving home, Jian can't sleep and joins Jin Man on the couch. Jin Man is watching a nature documentary of hyenas attacking a lion. Only the weak bark, the strong stay quiet. Jin Man teaches Jian as they watch. Then, suddenly, Jin Man gets a call, forcing him to leave. Jin Man gives Jian a mission. His friend is going to come and get her, but she must only open the door if he can solve a riddle. Once Jin Man leaves, a man comes to the door, but instead of answering the riddle, he picks the lock. Luckily, before he can do anything, the thug is pulled into the hallway by someone else. After a while, a different man comes in and answers the riddle, Jin Man's friend. The friend tells Jian to stay in the room. However, as they fight, Jian cracks the door open and spies the bad guy cutting off Jin Man's friend's hand before entering her room. But Jian is fast, and before the two thugs can find her, she climbs out of her window. Clinging to a hanging rod off the side of the building, she escapes. Waking up in the hospital, Jian overhears how her parents died at her grandmother's funeral. Heartbroken and an overnight orphan, Jian dreams of a hyena holding Jin Man's friend's dismembered hand. When she wakes up, Jian realizes that something is wrong. There is a bad guy just outside of her room. Jian runs into the morgue and, desperate to find a place to hide, crawls next to a dead body. Spotting that the corpse is her deceased mother, she hugs it tight as she listens to the shootout happening outside. Luckily, Jin Man rescues Jian from the nightmare and takes her home. However, in the aftermath of the trauma that she experienced, Jian gets aphasia, meaning she can't speak, and dissociative amnesia. Forced to become independent, Jian learns to get her own food and communicate with Jin Man through post-its. A turning point comes one night when a group of school bullies locks Jian in a storeroom. In the dark, she sees the hyena holding the hand and, petrified, Jian finds her voice and calls for Jin Man, who comes to save her. Back to the present. With Min-hye outside, Jian and Jong-min keep exploring the Merthy Help website. As they learn, the members of Merthy Help need codes to buy products. There are 4 codes, including red, purple, yellow, and most importantly, green. Everyone who has a code must never attack green, and if a green is attacked, everyone must protect them. According to the website, unlike the other codes, there are only 2 people who are code green, Jin Man and Jian. But before Jian can process this information, out of the blue, an explosion hits the house and 2 drones batter Jong-min and Jian with bullets. They are under attack. Fortunately, Jin Man had predicted this situation and had built their house like a fortress, with all the windows being bulletproof and all the cupboards made of sheet iron that could be used as shields. Plus, there were guns everywhere. After taking down the drone that was about to blast Jeong Min with Jian's slingshot, Jian and Jeong Min find them cornered by another drone. Just as it starts looking hopeless, Min-hye shoots a sonic blast gun which destroys all the drones. Entering the house, Min-hye injects Jeong Min with a syringe of something that makes him pass out. With Jeong Min unconscious, Min-hye explains to Jian that she is here to protect her. When Jian asks how she can trust her, Min-hye reveals that she knows that Jin Man told Jian to shout his name if she is in trouble. Min-hye tells Jian she also knows that Jian has shouted Jin Man's name only 3 times in her life. Once, when she was stuck in the storeroom, the time that she was sexually harassed, and when the boss at her part-time job shorted her. Shocked that this stranger knew such intimate details of her life, Jian has no choice but to trust her, not least because Song-jo, a sniper and one of Jin Man's many enemies, has his sights set on killing Jian. At this point, Jian has to accept any help she can get. As Song-jo's men suit up to storm the house, Min-hye sets off a smoke bomb, successfully distracting Song-jo. Min-hye, however, ends up getting shot by Song-jo when she tries to take down the drone that he sent to clear the smoke. With Min-hye hurt, Jian uses a mirror fastened to a broomstick to figure out where Song-jo's van is parked, and when she lifts the couch, she finds a large rifle. Leaning the massive gun against the couch, Jian shoots and kills Song-jo's driver. But at that moment, the house is surrounded by men who instantly start attacking. Dodging the flying bullets, Min-hye guides Jeong Min and Jian to a hidden room in Jin Man's warehouse. Facing a locked keypad, in a stroke of genius, Jian suddenly remembers how her uncle used to drill her school ID into her head. The numbers work, and Jian and Jeong Min escape the battleground when the floor moves down like an elevator to reveal a store of guns and weapons, the Mirthy Help shopping mall. Looking around in bewilderment, just as Jian and Jeong Min relax, a masked man comes out of the shadows. Introducing himself as Brother, the masked man instructs Jian to handcuff Jeong Min, not one to blindly take instruction. Instead, Jian takes Brother by surprise and chokes him. A skill she learned from the Muay Thai classes she took as a teenager from Pasien, a Thai immigrant who lived in the area and often worked with Jin Man. With Brother passed out, Jian and Jeong Min spot the security camera screens. Jian is pretty shocked to learn that her entire house has been recorded all this time. When Brother wakes up, Jian interrogates him about how long he's been watching them. However, as he tries to explain, Jeong Min interrupts, and Brother responds by yelling at Jian not to trust Jeong Min and running off. Chasing after him, Jian falls down a chute into another room with more computer camera screens. From there, she watches as Brother sneaks up on Jeong Min, tases him with a taser, and locks him against the wall. Talking directly to Jian, Brother tells her to open a drawer and open the handover guide to transfer the ownership of Mirther Help from her uncle to herself. As the new owner of Mirther Help, Jian orders Brother to let Jeong Min go. However, Brother argues that Jeong Min is the reason her uncle died. With both of them yelling, Jian is not sure who to trust. The situation gets even tenser when Brother instructs her to open a video file that will prove that Jeong Min is a bad guy. Just as she is about to click play, Jeong Min screams at her not to, throwing out the fact that he was the one who told Jin Man that she was locked in the storeroom, saving her as a child. Thrown, Jian pauses, and instead of opening the video, she tasks Brother with going to help Min-hye. Once Brother has left, Jian goes about freeing Jeong Min, who hugs her. But, as it turns out, the hug was actually so that Jeong Min could inject her with a tranquilizer. Jeong Min cruelly tells Jian that although he was indeed the one who told Jin Man that Jian was in the storeroom, he was also the one who locked her in the storeroom in the first place. When Jian wakes up, she sees Jeong Min talking to someone on the phone. Whoever Jeong Min is talking to orders him to kill her. Jian can't believe it. The only person she trusted was a traitor this whole time. As for Jeong Min, he is not exactly jazzed about the prospect of killing Jian either. So, he procrastinates by telling his story. Jeong Min explains that one day, a while back, he had hacked into Mirther Help to prove his hacking skills and come home to find 2 men in his apartment. When the men, who are part of a network called Babylon, confirmed that Jeong Min had hacked into Mirther Help, they recruited him to help them hack into Jin Man's system. Having just watched his friend get shot in the head, Jeong Min agrees and uses spyware to hack into the system. As Jeong Min explains, one night, Jin Man figured out that Jeong Min was working against him and tied him up. Now, opening the video file that brother had been referring to before, Jeong Min goes on describing how, tied up, he played Jin Man a fake tape of Jian in danger. In the video, Jeong Min tells Jin Man that if he lets him go, then Jian will be safe. Jin Man responds by cutting the rope holding Jeong Min and killing himself in the bathroom. Jian is devastated watching the video and disgusted listening to Jeong Min gloat. In retaliation, Jian takes a jab at Jeong Min's ego by explaining that Babylon will just kill him once he has killed her because that's how dispensable he is to them. When a furious Jeong Min points his gun at her, Jian breaks free and uses the materials around her to make a trap. Jeong Min falls for it and ends up getting hung upside down from the mall's shelving. With Jeong Min trapped in the basement, Jian finds a note from her uncle in the handover guide. She has two options. 1, she can escape and start a new life. Or 2, she can join the people fighting to protect her. Jian picks option 2 and goes back upstairs where brother is trying to pull a shot Min-hye out of the storm of bullets. Specifically, Min-hye had been fighting a man named Kuma, who now turns to Jian. After some fighting, Kuma traps Jian and radios Songjo, who tells him not to kill her. Just as Kuma is about to stab her face, Jian is saved by none other than her Muay Thai teacher, Pasin. But Pasin has bad news. Bale is on his way. You see, behind Songjo and the other men firing on Jian's house is a former mercenary with a grudge named Bale. To understand, let's rewind 14 years. At the time, both Bale and Jin Man were working as mercenaries and were on a mission to extract a Korean from a foreign country. After winning a high-stakes battle, Bale and Songjo go missing, and when Jin Man finds them, he sees Bale killing civilians. Jin Man is horrified to see how Bale is slaughtering innocent people, but when Bale is prosecuted, Jin Man stays loyal to his team and testifies that he didn't see Bale commit murder. Bale is eventually let go on insufficient evidence. Later, consumed by guilt for not locking up a monster like Bale, Jin Man goes to his superior, a man named Lee Yong-han, and explains that he will only continue working if he can never work with Bale again. Although Yong-han agrees to his terms, when Jin Man is assigned his next mission to take down a drug dealer, he is baffled to see that he has again been teamed up with Bale. Assured that they won't find any civilians during the assignment and that it will be the last time he has to work with Bale, Jin Man goes through with the job. However, during the mission, Jin Man and the other soldiers find that the drug dealer has been hiding in a manor filled with women being human trafficked. Surrounded by civilians, Bale continues to kill innocent people, including throwing a hand grenade into a room of women, which disgusts Jin Man. With no choice but to finish the job, as Jin Man is setting up the explosions to blow up the house, he finds a Chinese woman and victim. It's Min-hye. Rescuing her using his Chinese skills, Jin Man runs into Bale and they start to fight. As they attack each other, Bale warns Jin Man that if he survives, he will come after Jin Man's whole family. Before Jin Man can shoot Bale, the explosives go off and Jin Man and Min-hye barely manage to escape, leaving Bale to die in the flames. However, as it turns out, Bale doesn't die in the fire and fully intends to keep his promise. Having finished the assignment, Jin Man resigns from being a mercenary and reconnects with his family. Meanwhile, Bale, along with Songjo and a bunch of the others who see Jin Man as a traitor for leaving their team, come up with a plan to get back at Jin Man. First things first, Bale kills Jin Man's mother, and then, later at the funeral, Songjo lures Jian's parents to the rooftop, where they'll die. That same night, it's brother's brother, an arms dealer named Honda, who rescues Jian and whose hand gets chopped off. At the same time that Jian is climbing out of her window, Jin Man is fighting his own battle. Trapped in a tunnel, Jin Man has nothing but a machine gun and a bulletproof shield to save him. Thankfully, Jin Man gets away, and after getting his wounds treated by Pasin, who had also worked with the mercenaries all those years ago, Jin Man arrives at the hospital. With Jian hiding in the morgue, Jin Man fights the bad guys and saves Jian. In an intense moment, while carrying Jian over his shoulder, Jin Man comes face to face with Bale in the hospital, but vanishes before Bale can attack him. Flash forward. With Jin Man dead and all of his family, except for Jian, dead, Bale is on his way to finish his vendetta. But before he arrives, Jian and her team have more than enough problems already. For one, brother realizes that Jeong Min has broken free and has accessed the Mirthy Help server. What's more, a robot dog that their attackers had sent has started moving again and suddenly blasts them with an ear-exploding noise, causing brother to pass out. To escape the noise and Songjo, who has left his van to hunt her down, Jian hides in her bedroom and eventually runs to the warehouse with Songjo hot on her heels. Once in the warehouse, Songjo and Jian face each other with guns loaded. Although they are briefly distracted by Jeong Min, one swing from Songjo's axe takes him out and they face each other again. A duel is looming. Making it inside the mall, Jian suddenly drives a forklift at Songjo, forcing the thug to trigger one of his explosives and fall into one of the pools of gasoline that Jian had made. When Jian lights the gas on fire, Songjo screams as his whole body bursts into flames. Unfortunately, the mall's sprinklers get triggered, and Songjo, no longer on fire, rushes to attack Jian. Not hesitating, Jian shoots Songjo in the head. With Songjo and Jeong Min dead, brother shows up and, resetting the mall's settings, spots that even more enemies are on their way. This time, Jian has a plan. Speaking through the intercom and showing the enemies Songjo's decapitated head, Jian makes the Babylon men a deal. Leave, and they can split a fortune, or die like Songjo. The men take her up on her offer and leave. The next morning, after some guys show up to clean the house, suddenly a taxi arrives in the driveway. It's Jin Man's old friends from his funeral, and Jin Man himself. Injured and leaning on one of the men, Jin Man smiles at Jian, who can't believe her eyes.